What's up, y'all? I'm back again with another video, and well, David Canterbury is going to talk about land navigation. All right, so we're going to get into it. 9 minutes and 49 seconds.
To deal with grid reference systems like the military grid reference system. And so when you set your GPS up, and we'll talk about that a little more, programs that we use and things like that, you're going to be seeing those numbers and they're going to come up a lot. And so if you convert those numbers from, say, take them from a GPS, try to put them on a map, you're going to need to kind of understand what you're looking at, all right? So some of this is very arbitrary to what we really need to worry about when we're doing map work. But the last part of this is important, but understanding the rest of it so it at least makes sense to you is important as well. So we're going to look at a number that's going to come up. Let's say I just drag a spot onto my GPS and it shows me the grid coordinate for where that X is on my GPS. What you're going to come up with is you're going to come up with something that looks like this: 17SLD 68962262. Right? There's a lot to understand with that. Really, the only thing we need to concern ourselves with are these numbers right here. Okay? But for sake of understanding, let's talk about the first part of this as well. The 17 is the zone of the world that you're in. The S is your latitude band on the globe. The L and the D are your column and row for the military grid reference system, which the world has broke into military grids. Okay? And then these grid coordinates break it down to 1,000 meter squares. If I remember right, these MGRS letters are 100 kilometers by 100 kilometers, if I remember right. And then we're breaking this down to 1,000 meter squares on our map. So if we have a map and we know we got the correct sheet and all of those things that we need to be in the area that we're looking at, then really all we need to worry about is these numbers right here, these 8-digit grid coordinate that's at the end of that thing. And sometimes, depending on how you have your GPS set up, you may have a 10-digit grid coordinate there. But you can't plot a 10-digit grid coordinate with a protractor. We're going to talk about that in a minute and how these grid coordinates work on a map, okay? But I want to get this information out to you first so you have a basic understanding of what these letters and numbers mean prior to the actual grid coordinate itself. Okay, so my dyslexia gets the better of me sometimes too. So let's just make sure that we are on the same page with what's what here. When you look at these numbers of 68, 69, these are our grid identifiers, and these are running to the east, getting larger, and these are our easting numbers. These numbers, 22, 23, and so on, are northing numbers, and they are getting larger as you go north. So measuring right and up, we're always going to go easting and then northing. And one thing I want to show you as far as breaking these grids down is I've got a tool here that kind of shows that really well from maptools.com. And if you lay this on top of a grid square, it breaks that grid square down now into 100 meter squares. All right? Using an actual map scale or map protractor like this one from Pathfinder, you have a dot right here. This is so that you can locate grid coordinates or also put this on a particular spot. And then you have a protractor on here for plotting azimuths on the map. So if we take this and we put it in the corner, understanding that we're reading right and up, so this grid square is 6822. You always give the easting number first and then northern number. So 6822 is this grid square. If we go over 5, that means we went over 500 meters. And if we go up then to the 5 here, and we make sure that the 5 is on both lines, now we're 500 meters into this grid square east and 500 meters north, or the center of the grid square. If we want to break that down further or get closer, in this case, the 8-digit grid would be 5050. I'm on the right line here. So 68, 50, 22, 50. If we want to break that down or we're not on an actual line, then we can break that down into the 10 meters by calling it, let's say we go over 2 and up a couple. Now we're at 520, or 520 meters by 520 meters into that grid square. So we take a random dot here, say this one right here, and we put our protractor on it, okay? And we know that we're in the 6822 grid square. We went easting 5, 4, so 540 meters in there. So you'd have 6, 8, 5, 4, and 2, 2, 3, 2, 320 meters up to that point. That gives us a way of breaking it down so that we're within 10 meters of a target if we break it down into millimeters, if we don't end up on a solid number like this, all right? Then it becomes just a 0, 3, 0 in this case, and 4, 0 in this case. Now, if we take a random point on the map, we'll just say this trailhead right here, and we want to find out what the grid coordinate for that is. We first look at our easting number, which is in the 70 right here, and it's in the 22 here. So 70, 22 are going to be our grid identifiers. From that, we're going to start here in the corner and go 70 over to here, which is going to give us 7045, 7045, and that's our easting. Then our northing would be 22, 7, between 6 and 7 there. Well, you could call it either one and you'd be fine. Again, you're only talking 10 meters. So 7, 6. So 68, 46, 22, 76 would be the grid coordinate for that point. The easy way to remember that is when you look at your line here, you're going always right and up. So right is going to get you here, and that is your easting number. And then up from the bottom of that grid square is going to get you here, and that's going to give you your northing numbers. Okay. Okay, guys, that was just a quick video on how our NGRS grid system, UTM grid system works on our map, how to actually plot those grids on the map or identify those grid numbers on the map to give them to someone else. It's something that you can practice at home very easily just by taking a map, taking a GPS, and plotting grid coordinates and then comparing them to a GPS to see how close you get. If you're getting close to your GPS, then you're doing it right. It's a very simple exercise. I encourage you to practice it. That way, if someone ever gives you a grid coordinate, you have to give one to someone else, you understand how to do it. For normal route planning purposes and things on a map that you're going out and scout for a hunt or something like that, or going to hunt, you really don't need it. But it's always good to have that practice and that reference with you. Because if you had to call for rescue for some reason, you could do it by phone, things like that. Giving someone that UTM grid can get them to you much, much faster than if they're looking for you all over the map by some terrain feature that you're giving them. All right, guys, listen, I appreciate you joining for this quick video on grid coordinate systems and how they're set up and how to utilize them to pinpoint areas and locate.
All right, guys, that's the video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that thumbs up, and click that bell. If you enjoyed the video, if you liked the video for today, hit the comment section. I'm out of here.